Shalom, shalom. Apostle Rakab back once again with another impromptu video. I say all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. Hey, shalom to you brothers of the sincere, hopeful elect, okay, that's out there. And all praises, man. And, this is a beautiful thing. As y'all know, tomorrow, we're coming into the so-called New Year, what Esau, what this devil, the so-called white man, calls the New Year. And, tomorrow, brothers will be doing their New Year's Eve destruction videos, which that's a tradition, which Abaratzazai, tomorrow, we're going to be doing them videos with brothers. I'll be with the brothers at the Dallas camp more than likely, and we're going to do the New Year's Eve. That's a tradition here in GMS. Coming into every so-called New Year that Esau calls a New Year. The New Year is not in the middle of the goddamn winter like right now. Supposedly, we're in the middle of the winter, but the New Year comes in the spring, which is around March, April, March, around that time. Sometimes even late February, you know what I mean? But Esau got this whole world so effed up. But here it is. The title of this video I'm going to put out there, this is just something that was in the spirit, in my spirit, to do through the grace of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, having the true breath in you. And as we see with everything that's going on, the climate, first of all, we know for a fact, these so-called Christians out here and shit like that, people like Vocab Malone, well, first of all, man, Vocab Malone, I believe, is a goddamn Edomite anyway. He's a devil. He's an Edomite, a straight-up Edomite. There was a point years ago, I was like, well, maybe he could be a Jake or not. But then again, realistically, it really doesn't matter. Whether he might be a Jake. Like, there's a lot of people that can be Jake, but that just because you might be a Jake don't make you right. We said that. Because you got, oh man, this ties into a video I think I did like a day or so ago. Just because you got border blue and fringes on your garment don't make you of the elect. That don't make you of the elect, man. All right? You can have the fringes hanging off your fringes hanging off your afro, whatever. Fringes hanging from your nose. That don't make you of the elect. And the border of blue wrapped around your neck, like it don't make you of the elect. The breath, you might not have the true breath. The true breath is the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures of Yahweh, of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? And this is all prophecy. Everything ties back into prophecy. You had dudes going back like 20, 25 years ago, certain guys that even before GMS came along, back when we were still a small group up in Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, we actually had a school, and there were certain other guys that was with us back then. When I say us, meaning the Apostle Tahar, Gabal, myself, Apostle Ramlab, and the other bishops. Now, among the brothers that y'all know today as the bishops, the Bishop Sakaran, Bishop Tazadakba, the Bishop Ayathan, the Bishop Ainap, the Bishop to Zion, right? If I'm leaving the Bishop Ibad, Salaki, I can't leave him out. Those bishops, those top elder bishops up there in Connecticut, they were with us, but there were other guys that you brothers don't even know about that was with, man, we had all kind of guys that came and went, other guys that were so-called top guys, high-ranking dudes that was amongst those bishops and us, right? And a lot of them guys fell off and went back in the world. You see what I mean? So basically, it was all spiritual. And even back then, the story, this is back, because up there, this is years ago, this was back in the 90s, the mid to late 90s, the early 2000s, we had an actual school. We had an actual building, an actual so-called church, right? Right there in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I can give you the address, 1663 Fairfield Avenue. And we used to do videos back then. We used to do all that. Hang out at the school. We used to have cookouts. We did all that already back then, right? And we used to have class. because that school in Connecticut was modeled right after One West. As a matter of fact, that school in Connecticut was an offshoot of the One West. That's back when we were still with One West, when that school was established. Okay, so pretty much it was the same thing back then. I said this numerous times over. Back in the 90s, like even now, like with GMS or even the other, there's other camps, IUIC, ISUPK, the Sakari, but that, like, this is just the second coming of all that. Back then, when we was all together, and this is when the high priest, King Marshal, high priest Ariel, before the split, back when we were solidly all in One West, there were other camps. You had a Boston camp back in the 90s. We had a Texas camp back then. We had a California camp. We had an Arizona camp. We had a Philadelphia camp, a Florida camp, a blah, blah. You know what I mean? It was the same thing. So the spirit always repeats itself, man. But the Lord, a lot of those guys that came into the truth, they were solid back 30 years ago or 25 years ago in the 90s. Right? They had the fringes, they had bad garments, they was out there going on fire, teaching. Some of them guys went back in the spirit world, some of them are just alive, but they back in the world, bugged out. They returned to their vomit. But see, if they had the breath, if they had the real breath of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, they would still be out there teaching. Whether they was down with us or down with whatever, they would still be out there going hard. All the guys that fell off, certain guys fell off and went back and just went back. But I respect them guys more. The guys that fell off, but they just went back into obscurity in the world. But then the guys that hang around and are offended in Yahushua, and they want to blame the ministry for you see, it's because of that school, that truth. Them Israelite brothers, they ruined my life. They ruined, that means you never believed. So that means all along, and then you run, like Apostle Tahar did a video, you run back to the Christian church. You see what I mean? But the guys that hang around have become chief scoffers against the truth. Those dudes are even worse. They got worse demons on them, man. You see what I'm saying? But them guys didn't have the true breath. They really didn't have the true spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in them. They got the sinew. Well, I'm in the book of, let me read this, man. I'm going to get right to the point. I don't want to do too much talking, man. I'm going to get into the scriptures here. I'm in the book of Ezekiel, okay? And we're going to go into this. Ezekiel 37 and 4, right? And this was a vision that the prophet Ezekiel had, right? Ezekiel 37 and 4. And he said unto me, the Spirit of the Lord, speaking to the prophet Ezekiel, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Yahweh Shai unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Now, look, we know that's talking about Israelites, you so-called Christians, but the Christians or any of these pastors, vocab alone won't be able to break this down to you, but if they did, they're going to go way the fuck off, all right? The bones is talking about Israel, because going back in the 1800s or the 1700s, when Jake came into slavery on the slave ships, bones are equated with death. When you die, you got flesh and sinew and your organs and liver and flesh upon bone. That's what we are. We're nothing but underneath all this flesh and veins and blood and our heart is bone. Because when you die and they stick you in the ground, you in a casket or whatever. And after a certain amount of years, your flesh rots away. You decay. And then if they come back, let's say 50 years later, 100 years later, they're going to find nothing but bones, your skeleton. So that's us, Israel. We were stripped of everything, the sinew and the flesh and the pumping blood. That was the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Our ancestors had it, which we are our ancestors. But because we broke the laws pursuant to Deuteronomy 28 and 15, the Lord pretty much stripped us of everything. So pretty much, man, we all became like walking skeletons. Actual walking skeletons, but it's a symbolic thing. You see? A skeleton got no covering, man. but like a skeleton that's walking around with no breath in us, like a dead body. We were all dead, you see? But the Lord said he shall cause breath. So when the Spirit of the Lord, starting with High Priest Albert Bivens, and even certain other guys, the commandment keepers before High Priest Albert Bivens, or around the time, you had guys on High Priest Albert Bivens' time that said, okay, we Israelites, but we didn't have the full understanding. Right? Even High Priest Albert Bivens, he didn't have the full understanding of what we have now. But then there came King Mashah, High Priest Ariel, High Priest Jaquab, and then the Lord, I'm going to read on. The Lord started to let more flesh come upon those bones, because we were all bones, like we were all dead. And I will lay sinew upon you. That sinew is a part of your veins and your organs, right? And will bring up flesh upon you and cover you with skin and put breath in you, and ye shall live. And ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And that happened. When our elders woke up to the truth, and even men before them, we were getting a piece at a time. High Priest Ariel, the Lord rose him up, and Spirit came upon him to come up with the 12 tribes sign. When we learned the tribes, we learned the name of Yahushua, right? So back there in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, boom, brothers woke up. Brothers said, I'm an Israelite. They grew their beards. They started wearing fringes and border of blue. We said, we got to keep the Sabbath, right? But we were keeping the Saturday night Sabbath, right? So we were doing certain things, right? The Passover, we got to keep the Passover. But there was still a lot of things that was off, right? So I prophesied as I was commanded. And as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And when I beheld, lo, right, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. That's right. So more things came along. Brothers woke up to the truth. More brothers woke up to the truth. Then you knew you was an Israelite, the sinew and the bone, right? But there was no breath in them, because there was still certain things in the doctrine that was off. And that's why, that starting with us, going back to the house of David with the Cornelius thing, dudes were awoken to the Israelite thing. I'm an Israelite. They knew the name of Yahweh, Yahushua, but they didn't have the full understanding. You see? So all the brothers that didn't want to accept the Cornelius thing, right? Or the hating. Yeah, that was another thing. We hate the 2/3. Dudes were stuck. They had I'm an Israelite. They could salute you, but they still had no breath in them. And that's even true to this day. Like IUIC, they got the image of Israelites. They got the sinew and the bone. They got beards. They wear Israelite garments, right? They got the border blue, the fringes, but they ain't got no breath, because they talking about Christ. So them dudes ain't got no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy upon the wind, which we do. When we go out to the camp, we ain't got no big crowds listening to us like IUIC and them other camps do. Son of man, the prophets say unto the wind, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, come unto the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. And that's talking about the elect. That's talking about the elect. So we got brothers in Great Millstone that's waking up, and that's what we doing. We prophesying. No matter what, we're going to keep doing what we doing, right? So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came unto them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceedingly great army. I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm going to break that down. That's right. That's talking about the elect. That's talking about the elect of Israel, brother. So you brothers, man, primarily you brothers that follow Great Millstone, y'all the exceedingly great army. And other brothers that follow, the Lord is going to raise us up, because he said, prophesy, right, onto the wind. And that's what we've been doing. For 10 years, we prophesied, myself and the other apostles and bishops, and there was no fruit really coming, but then eventually the Lord started sending fruit. And then look at what the Lord has blessed us with today, through the grace of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay? So this is really talking about the elect. It's not talking about all Israel. Yeah, a lot of Israelites woke up to the fact they're Israelites, but they're still dry bones, man. Dudes are still lost. But the breath that really you brothers that acknowledge the name and call upon the name of Yahweh Shai, you brothers are y'all the dry bones with the sinew in the flesh. Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord Yahweh Shai will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. See, so that's the breath, the prophets. The secret is the name of Yahweh Shai. Primarily, it starts with that. If you don't acknowledge that or you ain't got that understanding, then you're a dry bone. You don't got the breath in you, man. All right? For all you other Israelite groups that's coming with some other doctrine. All right? But I just wanted to say that, but hey, blessed be you brothers that have the breath in you, man. You call upon the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right? But I pray this video was edifying through the Spirit of the Lord. Shalom to the elect.